Hey everybody, welcome to the ATP project. You're with your hosts, Nick and Steve. I always say your name first, Steve.
That's all right. I'm more important.
I said my name first this day.
Well, it should be women first, shouldn't it? Or is that a bit old-fashioned?
Or equality and all that sort of stuff these days. Right. I don't think that really flies, does it?
No, I don't know. I don't know what flies these days about equality. At least today's topic is all about equality, really, in a way, because we can all do this.
Well, that's true. I love the way you do your lead-in, Steve.
I'm a legend at it.
You are actually a legend at it. Yeah.
You know, there's some things that you've got these talents for, and they're not very useful.
Yeah, in the real life, in real world, they're not. Like, but in this room, they are very useful.
I can play guitar, right? But that's right. About it too. It's just useless skill. Useless skill. I would play for 30-something years. So
if you get paid for it, it's not useless.
I do. We've got a few gigs coming up.
That's true. Yeah. Where's your latest gig, Steve? Because it was the last time was at a retirement home, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Literally. Retirement home.
Well, yeah. Well, we've got one coming up in Gladstone, so we're on the road again.
Yeah, where's that? What's that for?
It's a private party for a group of individuals that I can't get into what they do for a living. I'll tell you after the podcast. Okay.
So it's not a retirement home.
No, it's not a retirement home in a way, but it's pretty interesting stuff what they do on this farm, what they grow. Anyway, we won't go in detail.
Yeah.
Okay. Today, we're going to talk about meditation.
We are going to talk about meditation.
And that's a tough one.
A bit of a different one today.
Oh, look, if you wanted us to talk about the bowel or this sort of thing, it's all easy because it's specific. But meditation is fluid. We struggled with this, didn't we?
We did struggle with doing outlines and things for it because we didn't know which way to take it and how to talk about it. We want to talk about the science and what it actually does physiologically. But we wanted to talk about it because I think I chose this one actually.
You did. And because you're very good at it, meditation. I meditate occasionally. Yeah. And I'll tell you how I do mine. But you're better at it than I am. And I've got a whole lot of research. We've got some like this has been tested. So let's just dispel the myth that meditation is some airy-fairy Eastern philosophy thing that does nothing. It does something to the body. It does something.
And I wanted to do it because I have so many clients and the stress factor, and I think we've talked about in a previous one, might be out by the time this comes out, that why they're not getting better.
Yeah.
Why is this, and, it could be lots of different reasons, but so many people are resistant to doing stress management activities, so resistant to it. I don't have time. I try to do it, or I check in with them. No, I haven't done it yet. All that sort of thing. And
haven't got time.
It's vitally important. So we wanted to highlight how beneficial meditation actually can be. And people roll their eyes when I go, you need to meditate. They go, oh, yeah, whatever, I'll do meditate. But it actually is extremely beneficial. And if you are struggling with some health conditions, which we'll cover today, you'd be surprised how beneficial meditation can be. And it's free.
Yeah.
You can do it anytime. You can do it anywhere. You don't need special equipment. So
I know.
It's super easy.
And do you want to know when it started?
Yeah, tell me when it started.
About 200,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Now, we have these old medicines where it's been around for 1,000 years. 200,000 years ago, a psychologist researched this, and his name is Matt Rossano, which is in 2007, he published when there was first records of meditation. And what it was our ancestors sitting around a campfire watching the flames. And they would go into and they'd write about this trance-like state. So they said that's the first meditation that's ever been recorded. It's something to do with meditation.
Yeah, wow.
200,000 years ago.
And it'd be easy to meditate back then because there wouldn't have been a lot of distractions, would there?
No, just to save it to the tiger. And
no Instagram.
No electricity.
No jobs to worry about. Yeah, that's fascinating, isn't it?
Well, it was practiced by Neanderthals, which are a died out sort of ancestor of ours, our cousins.
Yeah,
and also the Homo habilis, Homo habilis. I mean, they were the ones. So it's like even before our species.
Yeah, that would do it.
Homo erectus, all this sort of stuff. We're Homo sapiens, by the way, if you want.
Homo sapiens, yes.
Yeah.
It's, well, I did find a bit of a timeline. So I tried to research the history of it.
Yep.
It was really difficult because there's so many different versions. I'm like, you don't know what's accurate, what's not accurate. So I've just kind of come across a bit of a timeline, you know, and don't shoot the messenger. It may not be entirely accurate, but it was just very difficult to find, accurate sort of history. So, but as you said, prehistoric and early historical roots. So as you said, archaeological evidence suggests meditation-like practices have been used in prehistoric cultures, possibly part of Shamanic.
Yeah, shamanic.
Is that how you say
The
it?
shamans
Shamanic?
used to practice it.
Sorry,
yeah.
I should know that. Shamanic rituals,
Yep.
part of that sort of thing. Early forms of meditation were practiced in ancient India, evidenced by the wall art in the Indus Valley civilization. So that was 3,500 to 1,500 BC.
So that's about 6,000 years ago for the people who are playing along home.
Yeah.
Isn't that remarkable?
That's
About
isn't it?
about 5,500. Really,
Yeah.
if we're 2,000 years, after Christ. So that's incredible. There's not many medicines that are 5,000 years old.
No.
We talk about the old Ayurvedic 3,000 years, but these are like 5,500 years old.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, as we move on, don't switch off. We're going to talk about the science.
Yeah, we're going to
when they've done, studies on this. But what else? What about the major religions? Because they practice some of this stuff too, didn't they?
Yeah. So there's a lot of different religions that practice meditation.
Yep.
So some of them would be Hinduism.
Yep.
So I'm probably going to butcher this, but
butcher away. I like meat.
The Upanishads.
Yep.
So they were circa 1800 to 200 BC.
Yep. Now they were Hindus.
Yep. Okay. Yep. So they're Hinduism. So they elaborated on meditation practices as a means of achieving spiritual knowledge and enlightenment.
Wow.
So the Bhagavad Gita describes various parts of yoga. So yoga is a form of meditation as well.
Yep.
So the people, all the yogis and that out there. So the Danya yoga is like a meditation practice.
Wow.
Buddhism.
Yep.
So lots of different religions have a very strong traditional history of meditation.
It's funny because when I was going to Sunday school many, many years ago, I'm an atheist now, but we grew up as Catholics. Meditation was
frowned upon.
It was very well. Let's say it was frowned upon. That's politically correct. Same thing. So it's isn't it weird that some religions have adopted this and used this, and there's some that don't.
Yeah.
I mean, as I said, I'm an atheist. I don't care what they do, but it's funny how there's these different approaches to it. So just be aware in the West there may be some resistance to this, and unless they've changed, I don't know. I've been at church for decades.
I'm not in any religious area, but so I don't know what some religions think of it, but I don't know why there's a bit of a stigma attached to it. Some things, I don't know whether they thought it was cultist or anything like that. I don't know. So, but yeah, so that's kind of interesting.
All right. So Nick, meditation, we both meditate. How do you meditate? Like, what do you do and how has it impacted your life?
So I have a very long history of meditation, actually.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, I used to meditate years and years ago, and I would meditate for 2-3 hours a day.
Holy mackerel! Okay,
I did.
You've outdone me. Mine's going to sound shit compared to yours. Go. 2 to 3 hours. Okay, just break that down. How did you do it for 2 or 3 hours a day?
So it's interesting because from a mental health perspective. So I mean, I've divulged a lot on this podcast. I haven't divulged some things, but I had a very significant trauma years and years ago. Very life-changing, significant trauma. It took a long time to get over it, PTSD and all that sort of stuff out of that. So I meditated, and that was the only thing that got me through. So to get through each day was quite significant. So to get through each day, I meditated because it actually, for me at the time, it sent me off into a whole nother, sounds silly, dimension, or I didn't have to face the reality of what was happened in my life. And I started off doing it for half an hour, and then it just built up, and I felt so good when I came out of it that it just became an addiction for me, and it was a good addiction. Yeah. So that got me through a very traumatic period of my life.
Right.
So, and then, you get back to reality in life and all that sort of thing, and sort of drops off a little bit.
Okay.
And so I've meditated on and off through the years. But recently I started meditating again, and I set myself a goal of meditation for 40 days straight.
Whoa.
So if I get to the 40 days, then obviously I feel I pretty much would be back into the routine and want to keep doing it. So I have been doing it for about 3 weeks again, solidly, which I haven't done for a long time. Like I said, I might do it for a little bit here and there and then not do it for a few months.
And you're a busy girl. You've got jobs, you've got multiple jobs, and you practice.
Yeah.
As I said, you work to this very day in practice. Nicole Brown naturopathy. You can Google that, and you're there. But sorry, go ahead. You're doing your
So I started it because I am very busy. I do quite a few different things, different hats.
Yep.
It is quite stressful. So and I'm telling clients you've got to manage your stress. This sort of thing. I'm like, you know what? I have to practice what I preach. So I'm like, I need to get back into the meditation. So I do about I don't set a time limit. So I do it at the end of the day because it's the only time I really have because my day starts super early. So I always make time for it. I mean, I'm my day starts about 5 in the morning and it'll go continuously through to sometimes 10 o'clock at night.
What time were you up this morning, Nick?
I was up at I was up at 3 this morning.
Yeah. We were just talking off camera.
Yeah.
So that's earlier than most people that are listening to this, I'm sure. Got up at 3, this morning. My chiropractor was at the gym, I believe it's 12:30.
Wow.
I've never heard anyone going to the gym. That was waking up at 12:30 in the morning.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
She has a flight to Bali, but you get up at 3.
I get up at 3, yeah. So I get up at 3 because I wanted to get some prep done and everything before today.
Yep. And
also to meditate. Because I thought, because I'm down here recording, I'm staying in hotels. So I meditated this morning as well, but I generally do it in the afternoons, also the evenings, because I will make some time. I'll stop working, and then if I have to go back to work, I will. But so I aim for half an hour, minimum half an hour, and sometimes I go half an hour. Sometimes I might go 40 minutes or 50 minutes, just depends. But in the last 3 weeks, and this is what has happened every time I meditate. It changes your life. And that sounds very dramatic.
Yeah.
And people roll their eyes and go, oh my God, that's just whatever. But it really does. Yeah. It really does. My nervous system is just so much better. I mean, I get very into that sympathetic dominant state a lot of the time because you're always running and trying to get everything done. So I feel so much calmer. I'm sleeping again because I wasn't sleeping very well because I was just doing so much. So I'm sleeping again. I'm calmer. I'm managing my load so much better. So many things are changed. I can breathe properly. You get to the point where you're so stressed and busy that you just can't breathe properly. So I'm breathing better. And it's amazing the things that start to fall into place in your life when you actually take the time, and we can talk a little bit about why, take the time to actually to take a step back and sort of focus in rather than focusing on all the noise and all the craziness and the drama and the stress that's going on around you. Because how can you function and get anything done, have goals, have, everything you have to do when everything's so scrambled. Yeah. So it kind of takes you away from all that and allows you to refocus and have a bit of clarity on things that you've got to get done or things that you want to do or projects that you want to get done. It actually streamlines everything and makes everything so much easier. And that sounds like a bit dramatic, but it actually does. It actually does do that if you can really dedicate the time to do it.
Oh, and I just want to touch on time, because one of the most common things that I used to say to people when I was practicing is, try and meditate, and all sorts of things. And what they said is they haven't got time. And you said something interesting, a little bit different to that. You said, I made time.
Yeah.
Now, do you want to explain that difference? Because it's a one word, and I'm picking on it because everyone's got the same amount of time. It's 24 hours a day. I know that for everybody who works here, everybody in the next factory, everybody anywhere in the world has 24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
So you can't, you have to manifest those time, whatever you do. But do you want to explain how you make time?
Yeah. So, I mean, look, and that's right. Everyone has 24 hours in a day. Someone who maybe has no job and someone who maybe is CEO of a company, they all have the same amount of time in the day. So, in my industry, the health industry, wellness industry. So it's all about being, supporting your body and being the healthiest that you can. So I always make time for exercise, right? So that's whether I get up at 4 a.m. and exercise or whatever, I will always make time to exercise. And this is no different. This is for my health. So, and we've talked about stress and the effects on the body of stress and how detrimental it can be. So if you're not supporting your nervous system, then what's the point of doing anything else? So if I don't make time to support my own health with my nervous system function, then everything else is going to fall apart.
Of course it will.
You're not going to be able to get the work done. I'm not going to be able to manage the workload. Mental health goes down, anxiety and all that sort of thing. So for me, it's sort of putting my health first, like with exercise, like with good nutrition. It's all part of that. So people will put a lot of emphasis on nutrition, exercise, even sleep to a degree, but not on their stress management. And I don't understand why people don't put as much focus on that, because if you don't manage your stress, it's no point doing anything else, because we've talked about what can actually happen physiologically with chronic stress.
For those people who are not watching this, our table is covered in papers, scientific studies, and they're all on the benefits of meditation.
Yeah.
and it goes on forever. Like I won't go into it now, but there's so many benefits, and I struggle now to think why people wouldn't do this. It's free. I think the time is the only thing that people say, I haven't got time, but you have to make time.
And it's funny because the people that say I haven't got time are the ones that need to do it more than anything.
Yes.
Because if you don't have that, and if you don't even have, and we'll talk about how much you need to do meditation-wise, but if you don't have 5 minutes in your day, you're the sort of person that really needs to do some stress management.
Sure, but you hear them. Oh, I've got this, I've got life, I've got kids, I've got family. I'm too busy. I can't do this. It's like you're the one person that needs to do it.
Yeah.
Now, again, we didn't design the human body. Stress affects everybody badly.
Yeah.
If it was up to us to design the human body, stress wouldn't adversely affect your body. It does.
Yeah.
We didn't invent the body.
Yeah.
No, it's just the way it is. It's got a system in it that means it responds to stress.
Yeah.
And stress keeps us alive.
Yeah.
We talk about our old mate beside the fire. If they heard a rustle in the bushes and didn't get stressed by it, they could have been eaten by the saber-toothed tiger that came and clawed them in the back.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have to be stressed.
Yes.
To survive through our evolutionary process.
Yes. And it switches on and off.
Yes.
And that's the thing. But it's not switching off because, like we've talked about so many times, the stress is continual. So you have to then switch it off yourself. You can't just wait for the stress to stop because it's not going to stop. In this
if you've
world.
got, say, kids that are stressing you out, let's say, they're not going to go away. They'll 99% of the time they outlive
not
you.
at least at 18.
Well, even then.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
actually,
it's like, I know, I've got stories of them anyway. Okay. But it's like, you're going to have this stress in your life for years, at least. Mortgage stress, years.
Yeah.
You know,
work stress,
work
relationship stress, health
everything.
stress,
Absolutely.
money stress, everything.
It never goes away.
No.
And so, and it's funny because even when stress is removed from people, now I've seen studies on this, and this could be an interesting podcast, is that there are people who are who give very valid, let's call them valid reasons why they can't achieve something. And they've done studies on these people where they've removed those stresses, and they've made TV programs. I remember a lady who was really wanted to go to the gym but didn't have the money or the time because she's got a single parent with 2 kids and all this. And so what they did was it was on like a Today Tonight show, it was years ago. So they got someone from a clothing company to outfit her to go to the gym so she didn't have that excuse. They got the gym to pay for a membership at blah, blah, blah gym. And they got the creche there to give her free creche, and they at the times that she wanted to go to the gym and everything. And
so it took away all her obstacles.
Took away all the obstacles. And it made a TV show out of it. And she was happy and in tears and everything. And then the lady afterwards says, yes, I can't remember her name. Well, we contacted Julie, but she just didn't show up to the gym.
Oh, yeah, really?
And it's like, so people put obstacles in their own way.
Yeah.
Like she had really good obstacles, money, kids, time, whatever. They were all removed for her, and she still didn't achieve it because we self-sabotage ourselves because of our own minds.
Yeah, people will put obstacles
helps.
in their way as an excuse, and people will probably shoot us down for that. But
I don't care.
It's
true.
Like I was saying earlier, I use my mum as example.
Your mum is a legend.
My mum is a legend. So my mum's totally blind. I've talked about that before. Yep. She's 70 something. I won't say a complete age.
I was just going to.
She's
okay, that's
in her
right.
70s. She's had some health issues recently that would probably stop somebody else. She goes to the gym a couple of times a week. Yeah. She takes a dog. She gets my dad takes
a Labrador?
Her down. Yeah.
Oh, they're cute.
A Labrador. Yeah. Zazu.
I never asked the name of the dog.
Zazu, his name is.
Zazu.
The latest one, yeah.
Latest one.
Yeah, the latest one. She's had a few. But she could have every excuse in the world. Well, I can't get there. I'm blind. How am I going to get around? She does have a personal trainer, so it's to actually help her. But she, despite all the excuses she could have, she still goes. So I think she's amazing. So, but people, if they really wanted to do something, they would find a way.
Oh yeah. This is it. And it's so funny. You hear, I saw people on Instagram talking about all these sort of things and blah, 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 and they do all these posts and everything about how, tough it is and everything. So you got time to post shit on Instagram. You haven't got 5 minutes to do a meditation.
That's right. Yeah.
What the hell how long do people spend on their phones?
Oh, some people. I heard a saying once, it was from a practitioner in America. I loved it, and said, you scroll till you get to the end of the internet. I really loved that. So,
but it's not about I don't even like the term finding time, because you don't just look under, there's some time. Oh, Betty, I can meditate or go to the gym, whatever you want to do. You've actually got to make time. You've got to carve it out, and you got to plan it.
Yeah.
You don't plan to, what is it? You don't plan to fail, but you fail to plan.
Yeah.
And you simply won't achieve if you don't put this as part of your day.
Yeah.
I said, we'll get emails saying, it's too hard for me. It's like, well, I've got evidence here to say that it's so good for you. And you're absolutely right. A lot of these people who can't meditate or can't find the time, I hate that term, or haven't got the time, I hate that term too, but don't make the time, they're the ones that need to do it the most. And you won't get it hate, but the facts don't care about your feelings. The facts are this work, because we've got facts in front of us we'll go through later.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm a huge fan. But so all right. So you get home at 5 o'clock tonight, I'm guessing, 6 o'clock tonight.
Yeah, so I have a 4-hour drive home.
Yeah.
So I come down. I come down when people know. Come down to the podcast. I live 4 hours away, so I get up early, come down. Then I drive back, so I'll be home by 5 tonight, and then I'll get all my prep and everything done for tomorrow. Because I have another job that I have to, my business that I have to obviously see clients. So I'll do all the prep for that and get everything unpacked, and then I'll meditate. So then I'll make the time to meditate, because I've had a massive couple of days here and the drive and the recording. So that's what I really need to meditate. Yeah. Because otherwise I'll be stressed and tired moving in tomorrow, and tomorrow will be a scrambled day. And so, I will make the time to meditate. I mean, last night I got back to the hotel. I had to work, obviously, and then I finished working about 7, and I thought, I have to meditate. So I stopped everything. Yeah. I meditated, and then I went back to work. Yeah, so it's
a great time late at night, because 99% of people are watching Netflix or whatever, and it's like, it's a little bit dead time in the evenings. Often by about 8, the kids have gone to sleep. So, whatever the reasons in your life, you've sorted your partner out, if that's your case, or whatever the reasons why you can't. Around 7, 8 o'clock is a good time to actually do this. Let's have it for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And you can do it anywhere. You don't require anything. It's not money. Yeah. It's none of those excuses. And as you'll see when we go through the studies, it's incredibly beneficial for you.
Yes. Okay. So we talked about what I do and how I how I include it. What do you do, Steve?
Okay. Well, I know you swim like 2 to 3 hours, or used to in the olden days.
Yeah.
I swim too, but I don't get the joy out of it you do. So my mind wanders. And what I found was that, you're swimming, and I'm going to make it sound like an awful sport, but I get into the pool, I look at the black line, I go up, and I go back.
Yeah.
Then I go up, go back. So my arms, I used to swim when I was 5 years old. I got my first swimming certificate at 6 with the life saving. So I've been swimming forever. So it's 50 years I've been swimming, so I can do it in my sleep, literally. And that's what I do. I use my arms, my body's busy, and my mind is looking at a black line, and that's all I'm looking at, unless there's a hot girl in bikinis in the lane next to me. But there's usually not, unfortunately. So I'm looking at the black line. I'm swimming
Anyone
along.
that swims this, Steve's going to be not going to that pool anymore.
Not swimming, that's pervert.
Hi, Beck, if you're listening, by the way.
Yeah, sorry, get Beck here. She knows I got the pool. But that's when I meditate, because that's the time when I can let my mind go, and all I do is keep semi-track of the time, because I swim for about 30 minutes. That's about 30 laps for me.
Yeah.
So it works out well. And the rest of the time, I think and I meditate, and I meditate through thought processes. And that's how I meditate, because my arms and body are busy. And I'm also multitasking, because I'm getting fit, I'm getting sun, and I'm meditating. So it's like I like that sort of trilogy, because they're different things. Yeah. And that's when I meditate, because my body, it's like you're doing yoga. It's like, when you're doing Tai Chi, it's like that sort of physical thing. Yeah. So when I swim, that's how I meditate. And I swear, especially when I was very stressed running my own business, I would make time for it, because it was so beneficial for my brain.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. It's remarkable. Yeah.
So beneficial. So maybe we should start with a few of the benefits that we've come across.
Let me get the paper out. I've got I've actually got, I'm going to start with something very interesting.
Yes, this is very cool.
This blew me away, actually. This one was, when you do these things and you think, meditation's good. It's good for sleep, stress. Screw that for a sec. What if you got cancer?
Yeah.
Now, I have got a review paper in the International Journal of Environmental Residential Public Health 2022. Sorry, long word. That's what it's called. And it references about 20 studies on meditation and breast cancer. Now, mainly breast cancer and other cancers, but mainly breast cancer. Now, what they found was this, and these are the significant benefits. So these are peer-reviewed studies, all studied and depending on different things. And what they found was improved moods, sure, improved pain, improve anxiousness, improve depressive mood, and you would be depressed. Improves cancer symptoms, so pain, all those sorts of things. It improves, again, sleep. It reduces hot flashes, reduces menopausal symptoms, reduces fatigue, reduces anger, increases vigor, reduces confusion, increases mood, and improves your habitual habits of eating and reduces irritability.
So just a few little benefits then. It's amazing, isn't it?
It's like, are you serious?
Yeah.
I don't know, a drug, I don't know, if you got 10 drugs that had no side effects, you could swing that.
Yeah.
Can you believe that?
I mean, if you're going through a chronic illness such as cancer and you're having so many side effects, that to be able to reduce some of those side effects would, you know, how much improvement does that mean just trying to cope every day? If you can at least take away some of these extra things that you're trying to deal with. So, and just all from meditating.
It gets even. I tried to pick the most difficult cases to treat and research it. Yeah. I found fibromyalgia. Now that's tricky to treat, isn't it?
It is so hard to treat.
Right, really tricky to treat. And there was a study done on this with 148 people, and they found that it improved the mood, reduced anxiety, reduced stress, improved sleep, reduced pain, reduced fibromyalgia symptoms, improved civic engagement, reduced pain, reduced disability, and reduced anxiousness. I'm just going through these now. Improved mental health and improved the quality of life.
Wow. That's amazing, isn't it?
I mean, that's just fibromyalgia. And again, same paper because it's a review paper. It's got so many benefits. Now fibromyalgia, that's a difficult one to treat, isn't it?
It is very difficult, yeah.
Really, really, really tough.
There's a lot of emotional and trauma-based stuff attached to fibromyalgia, which is where meditation and focusing, you know, internally rather than externally really is beneficial.
The other weird one I found, I'm not going to go through all of this, there's so many studies. This is study number 61, by the way. Carotid atherosclerosis. So in your arteries, you get thickening of the arteries here, right?
Yeah.
Now,
it's in your throat for people who
in your throat. Sorry, I'm pointing to my neck here in the carotid artery. Yeah, so they measure that to see how much thickness you've got, and if the more thick, the more heart you clogged. It actually reduced carotid intermedia thickness.
Wow.
So it got cleaned out your arteries.
Wow, that's crazy.
And that was meditation. There was 60 people where they tested it, and it was just simple meditation.
Yeah.
I mean,
no drugs.
No drugs. Screw your drugs. Yeah. I mean, and so as I said, I picked through some of these and found incredible benefits that just go on. And I said that study number 61 of this thing, it just goes on for pages.
Yeah, it's an amazing paper, that.
Yeah, it is. It is incredible. And so, it helps all the other things too, you know, but, I mean, one of the other weird ones that for people with amputations, it improves amputee body imaging. So you feel better about yourself.
Oh, really?
Stuff like that.
Wow.
Meditation, you know, if I was going to say stress and all that, and we're going to get to that because it helps with that. But you know, imagine all that. It improves that.
Amazing.
I mean, so pretty incredible. Pretty incredible what just simple meditation does.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you got for me? That's one study.
Let's talk about brain changes.
Oh, yeah.
So it's kind of cool. So not only does it reduce your stress, but actually can change your brain structure.
All right. Really cool. So the brain structure, changing brain structure is a really big deal.
It's big, isn't it? So
that is huge.
So there is a lot of papers and research to show that it actually increased grey matter density in the brain. Right.
You've got grey and white matter in your brain.
Yep.
Grey matters.
So grey matter is critical for various neurophysiological functions.
Yeah, so memory and
processing information, memory, emotions, decision making, motor control, and then there's deep grey matter.
Hey,
nuclei.
Deep grey matter.
So they're critical for learning, behaviour, cognition, movement, memory.
All your diseases are found in that. If you lose
exactly.
That,
so if there's changes to your deep grey matter, so things like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis, those type of neuro.
And Huntington's
degenerative. Yeah, and Huntington's as well. So, super, super important. It has plasticity, so it adapts structurally and functionally to response to learning and experiences. So it will adapt to that learning experience, actually change.
Wow.
So for learning a second language, for instance, will actually increase grey matter. So that learning.
It's incredible, isn't it?
It is. So I have found a paper from Neuro Report was the paper.
Oh, love it.
The journal.
Sounds nerdy like me.
And then the title is Long-Term Meditation is Associated with Increased Grey Matter Density in the Brain Stem.
The brain stem.
The brain stem.
I didn't know you could change the brain stem.
Yeah,
that's the important part which keeps your heart ticking and your breathing.
Yeah.
That's the brain stem.
It's a pretty important part. Yeah.
Pretty important. It's probably it's all important, but that's probably the most important part.
Yeah. So they found evidence of structural differences in the lower brain stem of participants engaged in the long-term practice of meditation. So they used magnetic resonance imaging.
Yep, MRIs. Yep.
So they observed higher grey matter density in lower brainstem regions of experienced meditators compared with age-matched non-meditators.
Yep.
So their findings show that long-term practitioners of meditation have structural differences in brainstem regions concerned with cardiorespiratory control.
All right.
So that can sort of account for some of the cardiorespiratory parasympathetic effects and of that sort of thing, as well as cognitive, emotional, and immunoreactive impact reported in several studies of different meditation practices. So,
it's insane. So that's the brain stem. That's the part that keeps your heart ticking and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about another part of the brain that's pretty unique to humans.
Yes.
It's the cerebral cortex. It's the
Yes.
part that covers the brain. Here, I'm putting my hand up my head. No one's watching probably. They will only listen.
Maybe they're off meditating. Or
off meditating. So there's a covering of your brain here, which is the cortex. Now it's semi-unique to humans because that's a higher thinking part of the brain.
Yeah.
And it really is important, mainly grey matter.
Yeah.
So does it help with that?
Yeah. So it increases cortical thickness.
Hey, a thicker brain. Are you saying I'm thick?
Thick, yeah.
No, this is a good thick.
Yeah,
there's good thicks and there's bad thicks.
There's bad thicks. So thicker cortex is linked to better cognitive performance, memory to retention. So people that have increased cortical thickness can have higher intelligence, better executive function, that type of thing. So we want to have good cortical thickness.
There's diseases associated with cortical thinning.
Thinning. So psychiatric diseases.
Yep.
So people with depression can show thinner cortical thinner cortex, basically.
And thinner hippocampus too.
Yes.
Which is different. That's a different thing.
Definitely. So there's so this is from the same journal, the Neuro Report journal, and the name of the paper is Meditation Experience is Associated with Increased Cortical Thickness.
Oh,
so in this one, they used MRIs again to assess cortical thickness in 20 participants with extensive insight meditation experience, so experienced meditators.
Yep.
So brain regions associated with attention, interoception, and sensory processing were thicker in meditation participants than in the matched controls, including the prefrontal. Oh my God, I'm so tired. Prefrontal cortex and right anterior insula.
All right.
So between group differences in prefrontal cortex thickness were most pronounced in older participants. So, which is really interesting because then that shows that it can offset. So as we age, we get the thinning of the cortex.
Yes, we do.
So meditation can offset that thinning as we age.
Nick.
Yeah.
Okay, we've talked about meditation. There's different types of meditation. We'll get to them. But what do you do when you meditate? Like, okay, it's 7:30 tonight. We're fast forwarding. We've skipped
Going to the future.
We've skipped about 8 hours, and you've got everything prepped. Where do you go and what do you do as a practitioner to meditate? Like, what's the process?
So there's different types of meditation and everyone's different. And that's, I think when somebody says, I tried meditation, it doesn't work, I can't do it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not the right type of meditation for you. And the other thing that I was going to talk about at the end, but we can talk about now is they say, I just can't focus. I just have so many thoughts and I just keep going off. I'm like, that is actually very normal.
Yep.
Even very experienced meditators still have that problem.
I get that.
Yeah, exactly. And I get that as well. So all you have to do is bring your focus back. So just you don't try to stop the thoughts. It's because if you try and stop the thoughts, it's like thinking about the pink elephant in the corner. It's all you're going to think about, right?
It's all, yeah.
So you just let the thoughts go through and you don't try to stop them. But every time you check yourself or you realize, oh, I'm off on a tangent, and you bring yourself back, that's actually changing the structure of your brain because it's a new action, it's a new learning. So it actually is beneficial as you progress on your meditation journey. So that's a completely normal thing. So anyone that says, I can't do it because of that, then don't worry. It happens to everybody.
Everybody.
It's very, very normal.
Very important.
You just get better at focusing as you go along.
Mm-hmm.
So there's different types of meditation. So mindfulness meditation, that's kind of what I do.
Yeah. Where you're physically still.
Yeah, physically
Because the other one is the movement-based meditation.
Yes, there's movement-based.
Which is what I do, but I mean, we'll get to that.
Yes,
Sorry,
there's different types. Yes. So did you say it's all about me?
No, this one is. Because I asked about you.
I was going to record that. What is this all about me then?
It's all about you.
All about me. So I do mindfulness meditation. So mindfulness basically is focusing on the present moment. So you're not thinking about the past. You're not thinking about the future, because we've talked about that before. Past creates anxiety. Past creates depression. Future creates anxiety.
That's
right?
That's what my wife said the other day, and she's right.
It's so true because
she's rarely right. I'm always right.
Yes, that's right. That's very true.
It's the other way around.
So I use my mindfulness meditation.
Yep.
But there's different types. So there's transcendental meditation. So that was developed by Maharishi Mahesh.
Oh, him.
Yogi. Him. You know
Mate
him?
of mine.
You know him. So that involves the use of mantra to settle the mind. So you use a mantra, chanting.
Yep, chanting.
Stuff. Movement-based meditation, as you said. So there's yoga, that's movement-based, Tai Chi, Qigong. They're movement meditation.
So they're very slow movements where you're focusing on your movements. So I'm moving slow.
Yeah, but it's really interesting because I do say to people, meditation doesn't always have to be sitting in the corner humming. You can do active meditation. So I use walking as another form of meditation that I use. I love walking.
Yeah.
And that's anything I say to people, anything that puts you in the present moment where you're not thinking about future, past, mental chatter, that type of thing. People have hobbies and they're like, oh my God, I've been at it for 4 hours and I didn't even notice the time.
Yeah.
That's meditation because you're centering yourself. You're not thinking about stressful events. So that can be part of it as well. You can also have a walking meditation. So, and this is like a progression from a lying meditation, then you move to a sitting meditation, then a standing meditation, and then a walking meditation. And what that's teaching you is if you're out and about throughout the day doing things, you can still center yourself and not focus on whatever's, the stresses and things like that and get yourself back to calm while you're walking around with your eyes open. So you can progress to that sort of thing. So, but I do the mindfulness meditation where I just sit and I always use music because it just helps me focus.
Yep.
I don't do guided meditations. I find that they are off-putting to me.
A little bit, and we talked about hypnosis. It didn't include into this thing, but that's like a guided meditation.
Yeah, but some people it works really well for them because they need that focus to keep pulling them back in again.
Yep,
so
it works for some.
It works for some. So that's why you've got to feel out the different types and see what works for you best. So, but yeah, I do mindfulness. So I just sit with. Always put earphones in because then the music's direct into my ears, and I use specific. We won't go into this today, but I use specific different megahertz for different things.
Ooh.
So that's probably going a little bit more complicated.
What megahertz do you use? What frequency?
Mine is 528.
Is that kilohertz or megahertz?
That is kilohertz.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kilohertz. Yeah.
Because megahertz would be a bit high.
Yeah. So kilohertz, sorry. But it's all different ones for different things. So yeah, I use and you can YouTube it. You don't even have to use apps, pay for apps. You can YouTube it. So I just YouTube 528 kilohertz meditation or music, and but I have different ones for different things. So there's what I want to achieve out of the meditation.
We could do a podcast on frequencies alone.
I would love to do a podcast on frequencies because I find it fascinating. So we could go down a rabbit hole with a lot of things with frequency, energy, healing, all that sort of stuff. Like it's pretty woohoo stuff, but the frequency stuff has a lot of science backed.
If you want a bit of a gag, Google a brown note.
Oh,
I think it's 8 hertz or 8 kilohertz. I think it's 8 hertz. Yeah. It's very low frequency.
Yeah.
And it causes you to. Yeah, probably don't Google it. No.
I have a brother. Sometimes he listens to this, sometimes he doesn't. I don't know.
Yeah, your brother's
but
cool.
he has that in one of his emails. Yeah. So there's an inside joke. Yeah. Because our surname's Brown, right? So
of course.
Brown note. Yeah, no, the brown note. The brown note.
I didn't even think of that.
Well, yeah.
Could have made a gag about this.
I don't know. I don't know what's the validity of that.
They did it on Mythbusters.
Okay. Did they bust the myth or not?
They busted the myth.
So it does or it doesn't?
Doesn't.
It doesn't.
It didn't cause a catastrophic.
An evacuation,
what
basically.
did they say? No, they said a catastrophic evacuation.
Poop yourself, in other words.
Yeah, that's what
we're getting at.
We're trying to say keep the high level of the science here.
The science,
I love the Mythbusters. That was a really cool show.
Yeah.
Because they tested stuff. You go, oh yeah, I wonder what'll happen then.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, very funny. But you know, like the meditation one was they actually did one on hypnosis, and they said it does it. You know, there's something in it, and I remember one time where they said they told someone to keep a secret, one of the younger guys, but only tell it to James or one of the other guys. And so so they said, okay, well, and so they hypnotized him and they tried to get him to say what he said, and he just said no. And then, but they got him to envision him in front of James, one of the presenters, and he said, "Have you got something to tell him?" And he splurted the secret out.
Oh.
So you see how?
Yeah, I do. I do think hypnosis works for some people.
Yeah.
If you're highly kind of, you know, what's the word?
Suggestive.
Suggestive. Yeah. If you're highly suggestive, it can work. I've had people try to meditate me over the years. Never worked. Never. So I don't like to listen to anybody. I like to do my own thing. But yeah, some people, hypnosis, I don't know how we've gone to hypnosis, but yeah, that can work. So we digress.
It's just guided meditation, really, isn't it?
It is guided meditation, essentially. Yeah.
Essentially.
So I use, different frequencies when I meditate.
That's interesting.
Yeah, really interesting.
And that just takes a bit of the, like you focus away from the present life, because everyone's got these thoughts, you know, and they're called intrusive thoughts.
Yeah. I get a lot of different things out of meditations that maybe other people wouldn't get out of it.
What do you get out of it?
I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm a woohoo type of person. I'm a naturopath, so we are
weird though. We are accused of being a bit out there.
Well, I live outside of the box. I do. That's just me. I mean, everyone that knows me knows I do live outside the box. I don't sort of conform to anything particularly.
I know that.
Yeah,
I like that about you.
Yeah,
I like because I'm a bit more logical, left brain.
Yeah, left brain. I'm very right brain.
Middle-aged conservative man. You know, just what are you?
I'm very right brained.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's good to have a good balance of left and right. Some people are very left brained, very sort of logical and whereas very right brained is very much the creative. Off with so I probably sit more in that side a little bit sometimes. But yeah, I can go on little journeys, get lots of things out of it, lots of little visions and stuff.
Wow.
People are going to think I'm crazy. But no, it happens. A lot of times it happens.
We've just gone through data to show it changes the brain dramatically to the better. I mean, if you experience brain changes, that's a good thing. And of course, you know, everyone is experiencing all these changes. So this does change your brain to the better.
Yeah.
And we've seen that. So there's something in this.
Well, I mean, I think this is just my take on it. So, you know, as we said, we live in a world where there's so much noise, so much stress, so much everything. We don't ever have the opportunity to stop and actually just cut everything out and actually listen to our own body. And this is what I love about meditation is, you know, I have clients come to me and I say, I obviously go through all the health history, and I ask them questions and symptoms. And a lot of times people struggle to answer the questions when I say, does this happen? And if you do this or, you know, with a symptom, and they say, I actually don't know. Some people are so disengaged with their own body that they don't even understand what's happening in their body. So how do you then work on changing things if you don't know what's happening?
That's a good point.
And that's because we are so focused on the external that we've lost that sort of inherent, you know, knowing of what's going on in our body. So, you know, so it's like someone says when say, for instance, a parent with a child, and like the doctor will try to tell them what's going on with the child, and the mother go, no, that's not right. It doesn't sit right with me. They just know, like there's that inherent knowing. We all have that for our own health, but we lose it. Yeah. So meditation will actually, it brings you back to yourself. It takes you inward rather than outward. And so you start to notice everything. And so you become very in tune with your body. So that's, I think, where the health aspect comes in as well, because you know if something doesn't feel right, you know, you got a little symptom or niggle, you go, yeah, it doesn't feel right to me. So you become much more aware of your own body and physiology. So I love it for that. And I think we've lost that. So
I agree. And funny how you said about the parent thing. You know, the parent knows if the child's not right. Even the government has recognised this. And if you take your child to say a hospital, you think your child's sick, okay? no strict evidence, limbs are there and everything's happy. But there is a rule called Ryan's rule, which you can invoke if you go to the hospital and you have this intuition that your child is not well. You say, no, I'm invoking Ryan's rule, and they have to go to further tests and further. They do have to do further investigations.
Yeah.
So they recognise there's this intuition that parents have.
Yeah.
And what we've lost is our own intuition for our own body.
Lost our intuition, 100% lost it. And that's why I think there's so much illness, because people, they don't notice small changes that they can sort of rectify, imbalances that are happening in their body. And our own, intuition tells us when things aren't right, but we've lost it because we're so focused on the external that we just don't know anymore. So, that's why I love meditation for that, and for the health aspect, obviously all these different things that it changes physiologically, but it just brings us back to our own physiology and listening to our body again. And, I'm a naturopath. We talk about, lifestyle stuff, sleep and the stress management and the diet, and then we do the supplement protocols and all that sort of thing. And we really forget about this whole other spiritual side of it. It's not religious, nothing like that, but it's part of it's part of our body, part of our physiology. We have to keep that aspect in the forefront of our mind as well. So that's why I think there is such amazing benefits, because literally people are just stopping, going inward and starting to refocus on their own body again.
You're 100% right. Now, what advice would you give to someone who's a bit like me? I haven't asked this before, but someone who's a left brain logical guy usually who goes, this stuff doesn't interest me, or that I don't think it'll help. What is there a way of breaking through to say, look, I've got a study in front of me how it affects corticotropin releasing hormone. So I know it does effects in the brain.
Yeah.
But what would you suggest to someone who just wants to start this out? What have you got any suggestions?
Yeah. So you can start with 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay, good.
We can do
that.
Find out what you want. So find out what you like. If you want to do a guided something.
Yep.
Or if you just want to find some music that you like, obviously not rock music or pop music, like some sort of meditation style music. No. And you can just go somewhere and sit for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's all you have to do. And if you sit there and your mind wanders off in every different direction and you go, that was useless, too bad. It doesn't matter. Do it again the next day or whatever for another 2 minutes. And just you have to persevere.
Yep.
And like I said, even I used to do it for 2-3 hours at a time. And when I started again, I was like, I can't even focus. My mind's going everywhere. But you just persist, and within a week it was starting to sort of hone it in a little bit again. So you have to want to do something. You have to, and I always this is how I sort of think, when you're going to do something life-changing or changing, habits, what is your reason for doing it? Because some people do it because they're told to do it, but you have to have the reason. Is the reason because you have a chronic illness and you just you're not getting anywhere? Do you have chronic pain? Do you have a lot of stress? Is everything in your life falling apart, jobs, relationships, things like that, and you're just trying to find something? So you have to have a reason to tell yourself to do it. Otherwise, what's the driver?
People in denial, they think their life is wonderful and everything like that, and it's not. Often it's not, and they don't recognise this as a valid treatment for their situations, and it is. It definitely is. It does all sorts of things. I mean, it changes the microbiome.
Yeah, it does.
This paper,
yes,
called "The Effects of Stress and Meditation on the Neuroimmune System, Epigenetics, and the Human Microbiome." That's the title of a paper. A great paper, and it talks about how it physiologically changes the microbiome. And everyone goes, "Oh, I want a healthy gut and all this." And we work for ATP Science. We sell products to help you help microbiome. I won't mention names. But lots of gut products, lots of them.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is extraordinarily powerful as well.
Yeah.
So if you've got gut issues and you can't be bothered going down the shop, try this first. I mean, I want to sell product because it keeps me in a job. But this is free, takes minutes, and anyone can do it.
Yeah.
And it can help you brain, gut, everything.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've talked about so many times in the past how stress impacts our digestive, a gut, GI tract.
Yeah.
And, if we're sitting in that sympathetic, we're not producing acids and enzymes. We've talked about that. So you're going back into your parasympathetic mode, which is a rest and relax, rest and digest.
Yep.
It's going to improve your digestive function. And, if you're dealing with chronic gut issues and that type of thing. And we're not saying just do meditation. Obviously, do a lot of lifestyle things. Definitely supplementation can be helpful.
Oh,
obviously
absolutely.
where it's needed as well. But this as well can be a tool that can possibly just really maybe push you over into that more healing state.
Yep. I'm going to read the results of this study. What they found was that psychological stress typically triggers a fight or flight response, prompting corticotrophin releasing hormone and catecholamine, which is like adrenaline production, in the various parts of the body, which ultimately disturbs the microbiome. And they go on to say that meditation helps regulate the stress response, thereby suppressing chronic inflammation states and maintaining a healthy gut barrier function. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that.
No.
It's just a great, I mean, the papers. So, we're talking about, fixing your gut with all sorts of supplements now, but we're ignoring this.
Yeah.
And the people who have got stuffed guts usually should be doing this.
They should be doing it because stress is generally a driver of that sort of thing. So, it is very powerful in changing physiology.
Yeah, exactly.
Biology. Yeah.
Now, you've got some tips here for great tips that for improving meditation. And the first one, you could just elaborate on this. Find a time that works for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. So
what does that mean?
Well, that just and that's why, like you said earlier, I think night time is good for everybody. If they put the kids to bed, they've done everything, and they're just sitting down. That can be a good time. But anytime, find a time where you have the least excuse.
Yes, that's
so if you're like,
one.
I've got to get, I've got to get my kids home, or I've got to get my kids dinner, or I've got to get up and go to the gym, or I've got to food prep, or I've got to do whatever it is you've got to do. Once you've done all that, then just find a time that you know that you can't then make excuses about. So, and like I said, it can be as little as 2 to 5 minutes to begin with, and there's still benefits from that. So everyone has at least 2 to 5 minutes in their day.
Exactly. And then your next point here is to pick a quiet spot. Like, don't do it in the middle of your lounge room where you've got kids and, Yeah, so you want to sort of how do you go about this?
Well, I usually have a dark room. I go into the room, I shut the door, and I have a dark room. The less external stimulation, the better, the more you can focus. So taking away the light and the noise and that sort of thing. Just a quiet area.
Yep.
That's why nighttime is good because it already is dark, so that can help as well.
And you mentioned your YouTube thing, but you also meant here set the ambience.
Yes.
So the environment, you might have candles, or you may not have candles. You may just have dark room.
Yeah, just think of a dark room, quiet, just whatever works for you, whatever's relaxing. Some people put on candles, some people put on scents, some people don't. It just depends. It depends. So, you have a big burly guy, and we can talk about big girly.
Like me, a big burly guy.
That's right, Steve-O, exactly. That have done meditation. I think we've got a paper here I'll talk about. They're not going to go in there and light a scented candle, put all oils on and things, are they? So you just do what works for you. So, there is no rules to it other than just commit, start and commit to it. So commit to 7 days and see how you feel in 7 days.
Exactly. And your next point is set an intention. So that's the 7 days, but also intention of the outcome.
Yeah. So if yours is stress reduction or pain reduction or improvements in mental health or, chronic disease improvement, things like that, have that intention. Yeah.
The next one I like is his user guided meditation if you want to. So you can probably YouTube that too, can you?
You can YouTube it. So there's lots of amazing apps out there, Headspace, Calm. There's lots of different ones, but you can YouTube it for free if you wanted to do that. So you don't have to spend a penny. YouTube have everything. So just type in what you're looking for.
And I know our videographer was talking about, do you use an app for this when we were talking about this earlier? So there's probably apps for this.
There's apps for it, yeah.
Is there?
Yeah. Headspace, Calm.
Okay.
I just said that, Steve. You don't listen to anything.
No, I do know apps in that. I thought they were YouTube things.
No, so they're apps. They're Australian apps. There's loads of apps. So,
wow.
Yeah. So if you want, if you want to pay,
there's an app for everything.
Relatively
these
inexpensive.
Days.
There is an app for everything these days,
It's
but
nuts.
you can. Yeah, YouTube is free. So if you wanted to YouTube it,
all right. And I love this other point you've got here. Focus on your breath.
Yes. So it just keeps you present, basically, and stops your mind wandering. You just want to focus on something. Like I that's why I use the music. You just focus on the music and the breath. But sometimes I find if I focus on my breath, I can't breathe properly.
Oh, Jesus.
Because then you start to think, I'm not breathing deep enough, or I'm not breathing fast enough or slow enough. So it can be counterproductive for some people. So I don't focus on my breath.
No, because when I do it when I'm swimming, all you got is the black line. So I'm moving.
Yeah.
I'm going through the water. I'm not drowning. But it's the best place for my mind to work. And I swear, when you finish swimming, you've solved problems and you've resolved. It's just weird.
Yeah, and that's a form of meditation. That's why, and we were talking about swimming the other day. I love swimming too for that reason.
I don't love it as much as you do. But
no, I do love swimming.
Oh, Jesus. I don't know how you do 2 hours of it like you used to.
Not anymore, but I used to.
In the olden days, you used to swim for.
Olden days, I did, 2 to 3 hours I'd swim for. Just up and back and up and back.
Did you stop for?
No, didn't stop.
Nothing.
No, I loved it. It was great. Yeah, I just love that. I just love swimming. Everyone has their thing, has their exercise they love.
2 to 3 hours in doing the thing you enjoy.
Yeah, I loved it. It was the best part of my day. I also was living out in the middle of nowhere and there was nothing else to do.
Yeah, that's right.
I was living out in central Queensland at the
it's
time.
warmer too.
Yeah.
Now, another point here is reflect on the practice. So that's like once you've done the meditation, you self-reflect on it.
Yeah, so you can see
what
felt good, what didn't feel good, what worked, what didn't work, what do you think, was blocking you if you're struggling.
Yep.
And then you just make adjustments. Like I said, there's no rule. It's however you want to do it, however works for you.
Yep.
So long as you get the benefit out of it. So if you come out of it and you feel a bit more relaxed, a bit more focused, centered, all that sort of stuff. And that can take a bit of time. So, but it's just, just commitment to it. Like anything, like a exercise protocol, like diets, like anything. It's just committing to it. And you're not going to see results from going to the gym in 3 days. So it's the same with everything.
It's true. And the other one is you said be patient with yourself, which is what you were saying then about sort of, all right, you don't get it first off and all that sort of stuff. That's incredible. Now, Nick,
yes,
I have got a really cool study because it's full of graphs and, we love that. And this is published in Curious, which is a CUREUS paper, 2023. And it actually summarized what meditation does and how it improves your body. Now, I'm going to hold it up to the camera for those who are playing along at home. Now, have a look at that. I printed this one out in color.
Yeah, it's good.
Because what it benefits, firstly, it benefits PTSD. There's been lots of studies on that. We've seen that. PTSD is post traumatic stress disorder. Yeah. So you end up with physiological, mental or physical symptoms after a trauma. It improves the feeling of loneliness.
That's a big one.
That's a huge one.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who are lonely.
Absolutely. Yeah. And sure, the cure for loneliness is finding a mate or whatever.
But a lot of people who actually have families and relationships still suffer loneliness.
Yes.
So there's a factor there.
Absolutely. It improves social anxiety disorder. I love that. It improves your sleep. Now, we haven't talked a lot about it, but I've got another paper here which says it helps with sleep. It's one of the most common outcomes that they measured in all the trials. But, improvement in sleep quality and quantity and all this sort of stuff.
Well, it's improved my sleep tenfold.
Oh, absolutely. And on the other side, when you're awake, it improves focus.
Yep.
It improves mood. It reduces suicidal thoughts. And it improves self-esteem. It reduces depression and reduces anxiety.
Wow.
Everything it does.
Everything.
And we've mentioned physical stuff here. I've got another weird paper I found. It also reduces bad cholesterol, LDL cholesterol.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell? I came across that and I'm going, will I include this? Because it's out there, but it does. It improves LDL cholesterol.
Well, I mean, if you're improving your gut function,
if
you've got poor gut function, poor bile flow, poor liver function, you're not going to be, you're going to have cholesterol issues. So if you sort of rebalancing all the gut with the meditation, then you're going to be helping that as well. Could be one mechanism.
It helped it release, and what it did to HDL was it had no change. This is in the Curious paper, by the way. It decreased nuclear fat kappa beta, which is inflammatory. So it reduced inflammation, reduced interleukin-1 beta, which is inflammatory, and does not change your liver enzymes and doesn't change the HDL cholesterol, which is the good cholesterol for those who are playing along at home. So it has physiological effects even on your liver because liver makes LDL cholesterol and it changes that as well as all that mental health stuff.
Yeah.
And it takes 2 minutes. It's free.
Yeah.
And you can do it anywhere pretty much.
Yeah.
And you've just got to make the time to do it.
Yeah. Make the time to do it. And like we said, if you're suffering from chronic stress, chronic illness, mental health issues, a lot of the things we've talked about today, then you're a prime candidate to do this.
Exactly.
So
and I know you're going to write in, you're going to say, I haven't got time.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not about having the time because, you know, you after being alive for 40, 50, whatever age you are, you're going to fill your day.
Yeah.
There's not going to be from 2 to 3 where you're just doing, you know, they're nothing. So your day is going to be full. You've got to make the time and prioritize this. As Nick said, 2 to 5 minutes is just to start. Think about it. The benefits are undeniable. You know, like there's, you know, I was going to do a talk on something else. We were talking about doing one on bulking, and there's not a lot of studies on that. And it's just an interesting topic though.
Yeah.
But this has got, it was so easy to find studies on this.
There's so many studies, so many research studies on this. And I wanted to do it because, you know, we talk about all the conditions and we talk about all the biology and all the science and all the really ins and outs of everything. It's super interesting with conditions and how the body works and things. And then you think meditation, think, oh, how boring. But it's a pivotal part of our health and as humans, and we have to address this side of things. And it's an easy thing to do and it has so many amazing health benefits. You know, even like I said, creating a lot more clarity and focus. So if you're working towards doing something in your life, you want to start a new job, you've got a new business, you've got to sideline something, and you're so stressed and scrambled and you're like, I'm never going to get to that, don't know what to do. It gives you clarity and it increases, you know, get your focus back. So it can change a lot of things in your life as well. So, I mean, I'm a big proponent of it, but I just think if someone can dedicate 5 minutes to, I think there is a study we didn't talk about, but 13 minutes over 8 weeks, 8 weeks straight, elicited all these changes and more.
Wow.
And that's 13 minutes a day.
Look,
So
if you're sleeping better, you'll sleep less time because you're sleeping better.
Yeah.
Just in that,
Yeah.
you're going to be better. You're going to have more energy. You're going to have more focus. You're going to have better mental
you'll be
health.
more efficient because you get more done because you have the focus and the energy to do it.
Yeah.
So it changes a lot of different, it has a very, very big ripple effect in lots of different areas in your life. But even for the stress factor, we bang on about this, and I bang on about this more and more because all I see in clinic is that underlying stress that is stopping people from moving forward in their health. So, and people are so apprehensive or so blocked to doing stress management. I don't know why. You know, they dedicate, as I said, dedicate everything to nutrition, but they don't implement stress management. And this is such an easy thing to do. It's free. You don't need any equipment, as we said. You can dedicate a few minutes and build up to it, and the benefits are amazing, and you feel so good. Yeah. So, I think it's worth everybody trying it. So, you know, and as we said before, the people who said I can't do it, they're the ones that need to do it more than anyone, really, aren't they?
And if you can't do it, seek help from Nick or see a practitioner to get you, you know, or try the internet. Try and, you know, do the guided thing on, you know, as you said, give it a go.
Yeah, give it a go.
Give it a go. I think it's wonderful. And, you know, I'm a left brain nerdy idiot. And I think this is great. This is something that we really underrate. But, well, this is, everyone's got homework from this podcast. Go and do it tonight.
Yeah.
Do a meditation.
5 minutes of meditation.
5 minutes.
2 to 5.
2 to 5.
5 minutes. Let's do it.
5 minutes. Let's put our fist down.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, Nick. Well, we've run out of time. Speaking of time.
Yeah.
But you have a good one. We'll see you next week.
See you next week. Something nerdy.
Nerdy.
Yeah.
See ya.
Bye.